So in Istanbul and throughout the whole country of Turkey, there have been protests against Prime Minister Erdogan's government. It started in Gezi Park, and it started as a protest against a particular mall that they were building. But because of the overreaction of the police, it has spread to many quarters, and they believe that Erdogan, even though he was democratically elected, has become more and more authoritarian, and his response to the protests proved it in their opinion. Now there has been protests in 78 different cities since May 31st. Now, unfortunately, there are 3 dead at least and 4,300 injured. So this is very significant. It's also significant because Turkey is a secular country and Prime Minister Erdogan has led it more in a fundamentalist Muslim direction. Part of the things he wants to do is ban alcohol sale after 10 p.m. in a country like Turkey that is seen as very strange and is a cause for concern. And considering banning public displays of affection like kissing one another in public, again, very strange to Turkey's history. Now, Erdogan went out of the country for a little while the protests were going on. Now he came back to the country and he's been on a barnstorming tour giving speeches in many different places. First, it started out fairly good, if you ask me, at least in one particular sentence. He said, "Some say the Prime Minister is the Prime Minister of 50%. We have always said that we are the servant of the 76 million people." Now that's terrific. That's exactly what I said he should be saying. Look, I don't just represent the people that voted for me. I represent all of Turkey. So if these protesters have a problem, I'm concerned about that. Now, that's what he should have said. That's what his deputy prime minister said at one point, and even President Abdullah Gül said. But when it comes to Erdogan, he had about 2 sentences worth there and then went back to doing what he does, which is, I'm the boss. And if you don't listen to what I'm going to say, you're going to have significant trouble on your hands. So here come the threats. He said, "We showed patience, but our patience has limits." Now, when the president of a country, the prime minister of a country says that, when he's supposed to be representing all 76 million people in the country, it's concerning. He went on to say, quote, "No power but Allah can stop Turkey's rise." A religious reference in there, in case you were confused as to which direction he was going. Now, his threats continued. This one is very scary. He says, "Rich people of Istanbul, evacuate Gezi Park immediately." So understand what he's doing there? Populism. Oh, it's the rich elites, and I represent the real people of Turkey. And those rich guys, they better get out of that park right away. Otherwise, we'd have to take action, wouldn't we? That's very scary. Now, when you go to how he's riled up his own side, well, a lot of his supporters, of course, are religious. Nothing wrong with that, obviously. But the way he's appealing to them is not accurate. For example, he's saying, oh, they went into a mosque and they went in there with their shoes on and they drank in the mosque. Now, as the Associated Press reports, the reality is not that at all. Some of the injured in the initial clashes in Istanbul's Beşiktaş area were treated in Dolmabahce Mosque. The mosque imam has denied reports that the people entered with beer. In other words, they were using it as a makeshift hospital for all the protesters who got injured. There was no drinking there. Why does Erdogan say that? Because, you better get really angry at these protesters. You see how they're violating the rules of Islam? Now remember, only Allah can stop our rise. So for people who are concerned about Turkey being a secular country, you get more concerned when you hear language like that. Now, Erdogan then goes on to say, and I want to talk about scary, get a load of this quote, "You should teach them a lesson at the ballot box. You'll go from door to door, house to house, and work hard." Now, you hope he's talking about the ballot box when he talks about going house to house. But also, understand that, yes, he's doing this for electoral reasons, too. A little populism in there and a little like, hey, if you're angry, make sure you go and vote for me and my entire party. Like, if it was just contained to that, I could live with it, but it is not contained to that. More Erdogan. "I called on my brothers who were duped. Please put an end to your actions. Look, we have come to these days with patience. As a prime minister, I say, enough." I don't think that's what a prime minister is supposed to say. I think a prime minister is supposed to say, I hear you. There are things that I disagree with you on, but let's go and talk and we can work this out. And then if ultimately you disagree with my decisions, yes, then we can go to an election, and I will encourage my people to go to the ballot box. You should encourage your people to go to the ballot box, but protests are a perfectly normal part of democracy. That is not what he's saying. He's saying enough. If that wasn't clear enough, one more. Otherwise, he says, I will have to speak the language you understand. Patience has an end. You cannot show Turkey as a country where there is an environment of terror. So insinuating that they are doing terrorism, that he has run out of patience, and anytime anybody says, we will have to speak a language you understand, they are clearly referring to violence, and it's usually the language they speak. I know because I live in America, and our neoconservatives said the same exact thing before the Iraq War. We'll have to speak to the Arabs in the language they understand. That meant we're going to do violence upon them. And so I hope that is not the direction that he is going. So far, it has been, unfortunately, some of the direction that he has gone. And by the way, it is also incredibly ineffective. All it's done is made the protests larger and larger. All you got to do is listen to them earnestly. Give them a hearing as you're supposed to do as their elected representative. And then you could wait till the next election and let the people decide. But instead, you're egging people on because you've got this big ego and no one could ever cross your orders. But if you're the leader in a democracy, yes, they can. That's what a democracy is. People disagree and often will do things that you don't agree with. Welcome to liberty. But unfortunately, that is not the direction he's leading his protesters. Finally, I give you their scary chance. They were chanting, don't test our patience. And Istanbul is here. Now look, Istanbul is here. I can understand they're saying, we're also live in Istanbul, we're also voters, and we're also Turks. Fine. Don't test our patience. Again, clearly insinuating violence. And if that wasn't clear enough for you, the final chant was, we are ready to sacrifice our lives for you, Tayyip. Now, Tayyip is the first name of the prime minister. So saying that they're willing to sacrifice their lives as their patience has come to an end clearly indicates we would like to do violence. And by the way, the prime minister is organizing those same protesters to come out over the next couple of days to show that their patience has ended. That's a recipe for disaster, and it is not a recipe for how you lead a democratic country.